Nigerian Prize for Leadership (NPL) is the highest and most respected single leadership prize in Nigeria. It targets Nigerians of all age who have shown exceptional and numerous accomplishments, successes, creativity and exemplary leadership skills in their chosen professions through fascinating acts of personal, corporate, ethical and social values and sacrifices.
The NPL, through a very rigorous process, developed the 9 leadership barometers that we use to measure performance in leadership. Before now, there was nothing like that. People just dash awards, as it were, to people based on whatever is their judgment. But we had to set a standard, and we said that leaders must be measured. And these barometers were developed by the best brains in Nigeria, led by the late Professor Ayo Ibidapo-Obe, Engineer Mansour Ahmed, and so many other prominent Nigerians, including John Momo of your own industry. They sat together for 3 months to develop the 9 leadership barometers. So the measurement that was deployed was based on those barometers of vision, creativity and innovation, competence, character, sacrifice, impact on society, governance, role modeling and mentoring, and then inclusivity and diversity, because these are things we believe are very important to our operating environment, and this is what we have seen that played out. You remember that when Professor Bogoro spoke about his response, he was very clear, and from his response and his citation and his profile, it is clear that he meets the bill.
12th December was a remarkable day for the family of Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, the former Executive Secretary of TETFund. Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, who was selected as winner of the 2021 Nigerian Prize for Leadership (NPL) award in recognition of his leadership qualities and numerous achievements in and out of office, emerged the winner through an accurate process of selection, not through guesswork or random sampling.
I feel proud. He's worked so hard over years, and this is the least he deserves. So honestly, I'm the proudest son on the planet right now. I'm elated, I'm full of joy, I'm excited. So obviously I'm proud of him and I'm happy for him. We hope more of these awards will come his way. I'm really impressed by what they put up today, the leadership of that platform. They did a great job, and just like my father said, how they scrutinize the awardees has been really good and it's commendable. So I'd like to commend NPL for this. It's a good award and we appreciate them.
I nominated Professor Bogoro out of conviction that he has done a lot for himself, the country, and humanity in general. He has touched every facet of lives of people. Are you talking about areas of health? Are you talking about areas of engineering? Are you talking about areas of NGO? Are you talking about areas of promoting research, and development in Nigeria? I've known him for more than 40-something years, and I've been following his career. So he's not somebody I just met or decided to fabricate anything about. For somebody to have had more than 64 publications and consulting from agencies like UNESCO, UNDP, he's somebody that must have made a mark for consulting with these organizations. So Professor Bogoro is an academic of repute. He is somebody that should be recognized more than he is in this country. He needs to be celebrated for his achievements, particularly if you look at what he did in TETFund, how he turned around TETFund in terms of management of resources and reinvigorating programs and structure in the organization, which I happen to work in as a director too, and I work closely with him, and I know how much he did. Like somebody said, or like people usually say, it's not that there are no leaders. So what we need is visionary leaders like Bogoro who will essentially drive programs, drive agencies, to greater heights. When you have a visionary leadership, he will reform the structure of an organization, which Bogoro did when he was in TETFund. Go around the country and see what he has done in tertiary institutions. It's really amazing. Is it the area of academic staff training you are talking about, or the area of R&D, or the area of conference attendance, or teacher development? It's or academic staff training in our tertiary institutions, or publications. He has done so much well for this country, and I wish him the best of luck. This is just the beginning.
Family, friends, and well-wishers gathered at Ladi Kwali Hall, Abuja Continental Hotel, Wuse, to celebrate with their loved ones on this great achievement. The opening address was done by Professor Anya, the chairman, governing board NPL. He said that Nigeria was going through a period of pain and NPL will produce leaders that will birth a new nation. The chairman took out time to appreciate all who were present for the occasion.
It is with immense joy and a sense of satisfaction that I welcome you all to this auspicious gathering today. It is delightful to have you honor this occasion with your distinguished presence. It pleases me particularly to observe that you have chosen to spend your precious Monday evening with us at Nigerian Prize for Leadership. This, among many other reasons, makes me feel pleased that our pursuit and drive towards excellence in leadership in our dear country is the right choice. Your choices, may I suggest, are well placed as well, seeing that you have chosen to join in this evening as we embark on a new path toward a true and deep rebirth of a new generation of Nigerian leaders, well prepared to confront the challenges of the 21st century. Nigeria is currently going through a challenging period that will bring with it the rebirth of our nation. The Nigerian Prize for Leadership believes that these pains will produce a new generation of Nigerians that will deliver a new Nigeria. The Nigerian Prize for Leadership, NPL, is a product of vision and commitment of some eminent Nigerians determined to chart a new course of deliberate action aimed at identifying and reinventing a new culture of leadership, driven by values and a new mindset anchored on integrity and the pursuit of excellence. While it is important to celebrate excellence in leadership, as we have all gathered to do this evening, it is equally important, if not more important, to invest time and resources to raise a strong and credible successful generation of leaders for our nation on a sustainable basis and across different sectors of our society.
The vice chairman of NPL, Professor Jerry Ghana, said the committee, which was made up of notable men and women from different parts of Nigeria, rigorously considered the nominees, and Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro emerged as the 2021 award winner.
At the end of an elaborate and highly competitive selection process, the prize selection committee, after screening so many nominations, came to a unanimous conclusion and recommended to the governing board, and the governing board approved that the prize winner for the 2021 prize winning period is Professor Suleiman Bogoro. I can't hear you. However, the prize winner was not personally available on the 12th of December last year to receive the prize in person as required by our statutes. Hence, this gathering this evening to witness the ceremony of prize presentation to the prize winner. It is with great joy, therefore, that I welcome all of you. We want to thank you immensely for accepting our invitation. To ensure the emergence of a truly good and credible candidate for this Excellent in Leadership Award and Prize, the governing board convened a panel of experts And the panel was very independent, so that not a single member of the board, the governing board, was a member of the selection committee. The selection committee was made up of men and women from various parts of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who have distinguished themselves in various areas of service and who are men and women of integrity and honor. We were very delighted to have the opportunity of Engineer Mansour Ahmed leading that selection team. Kindly join me appreciate the work of Engineer Mansour Ahmed. The governing board was highly impressed with the report of the selection panel and duly approved their unanimous recommendation of Professor Suleiman Bogoro among so many nominees from various parts of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Bogoro is therefore the first in the series of the prize winner, the first in the series, the first in the series, the first in the series. On behalf of the governing board, please accept my congratulations. You've been put on a very, very high pedestal. We pray that you will continue to be a person of distinction, a person of excellence, a person of capacity, a person of courage, a person of innovation, a person who is a role model.
Dr. Ike Niliaku, the Executive Secretary of NPL, in his address said that the NPL graduated 17 out of 36 trainees who enrolled in 2021, and all of them came up with a score above 70%. They are being designated ambassadors and fellows of NPL with a view of them becoming leaders who will transform Nigeria in future.
On the 14th of November 2021, young Nigerians between age 21 and 35 years from the 6 geopolitical zones and the FCT enlisted for a month-long residential grooming in the NPL Leadership Ambassadors Program 002. On 12th December 2021, 54 of them graduated and were decorated as Leadership Ambassadors 002. This was followed by a call for the ambassadors to advance to the 2022 NPL Fellowship Program, and 36 out of the 54 ambassadors enrolled. The NPL Fellowship Program is designed to be a more rigorous and advanced course with 4 modules, holding in each quarter of the year. During the program, ambassadors for fellows in training got the chance to learn from and interact with some very reputable Nigerians who have broken grounds in different spheres of society. The trainees were taken through advanced and more practical courses in 4 modules, which are as follows. 1, Principles of National Development. 2, Entrepreneurship, the heart of nation building. 3, Leadership that matters. In Module 4, the trainees were made to undergo internship in any recognized organization of their choice, with the aim of ensuring that they learn, internalize, and practice the principles that they have been taught over time. All at the end of the internship, the ambassadors are to submit 2 reports, one from them and one from the organization where they served. Thereafter, they will present a project in any area of their choice. It could be a new project they wish to pursue, or an existing project that needs creativity and innovation from what they have been taught. The best of the projects presented are selected for further consideration and possible support for implementation. The assessments on the 4 modules stated above, and only ambassadors that earned overall aggregates scores of 70% and above are qualified to become fellows of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership. Anything less than 70% is not considered. Therefore, Chairman of the Governing Board, having successfully completed the 2022 NPL Fellowship Program and having satisfied all the requirements, I have the honor to now announce that 17 ambassadors have qualified to advance to the rank of fellows of Nigerian Prize for Leadership. After conferment, they are now free to bear the suffix FNPL.
And now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the conferment on go. 17. Gentlemen and ladies, for instance, now fellows of the NPL, Ambassador Eze Sunday Victor, Ambassador Kennedy Cohesive, Ambassador Olufemi Timothy Ojo, Ambassador Savia Motala, Ambassador Chiamaka Jonathan, Ambassador Amantula Latif, and Ivo Oshi, Ambassador Lawal Ali Buda, Ambassador Aisha Yasin Samuel, Ambassador Ruth Chiso New, Ambassador Pinola Ayoma, Ambassador Praise Mokuchi, Ambassador Dan Ruben Gabo, Ambassador Chinyere Iketsu, Ambassador Dr. Michael Ganzar, Ambassador Glory Garcia, Ambassador Jeremiah Michael, and Ambassador Kashimo.
The fellows, the new fellows of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, and we appreciate it.
The citation of Professor Bogoro was read by Mrs. Mercy Eluemuno, the Secretary, Prize Presentation Ceremony Committee, NPL, after which he was conferred with the award.
Suleiman Elias Bogoro, who hails from Barranca in Bogoro local government area of Bauchi State, was born on 6th June 1958 in Tulunwada, Year 1, Shedam, Plateau State. He studied and obtained first school youth certificate in 1971, WASC 1976, and BS Agriculture 1981 from Wari Transferred Primary School, the Boys Secondary School, Gindiri, in present Plateau State, and the University of Maiduguri, respectively. He joined the Federal University of Technology, renamed Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, ATBU Bauchi, as a pioneer graduate assistant in the school faculty of agriculture in 1984. He proceeded to obtain MSc Animal Science from ABU Zaria 1988 and PhD Animal Science from ATBU 1997. His composite research and bench work, courtesy of British Council and World Bank sponsorship, equally shared between ATBU, the Roberts Research Institute, University of Aberdeen, Scotland, and the Department of Clinical Veterinary Medicine, University of Cambridge, United Kingdom. He was elevated to the rank of Professor of Animal Science, specializing in biochemistry and ruminant nutrition in ATBU with effect from October 2003. He was appointed the Pioneer Director of the Environment Supported Agro-Meteorological Center, ATBU, in 2004. In In 2005, he was appointed chairman, Governing Council of the Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, Owerri, Imo State, up to October 2007. He was bestowed with the traditional title of a Kweme of our Bombisi, meaning a man of his words. And that was 12 months after taking over at the Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, as chairman of council for his unprecedented transformation of the Polytechnic in August. That was in 2006. As confirmation of the honor, the successor governing council gave him the fellowship of the Polytechnic upon recommendation of the academic board of the Polytechnic, thus becoming the first and so far the only former chairman to be so honored. Professor Bogoro is a prolific researcher with numerous publications, over 65 in international and local journals, and other academic platforms. He has innovated a rumen fermentation model and has developed a modified entrance rumen cannulation surgical technique for better understanding and tooling of rumen metabolism for bulls and rams. Furthermore, through his doctoral research work, he improved on the technology of the crude process, a method of ensilage of sorghum and other local crop straws, whereby he successfully reduced the anaerobic fermentation gestation period from 3 weeks to less than 2 weeks, yet retaining the high nutrient contents of the straw for the feeding of ruminants for beef, dairy, and other production purposes in a cattle ranch or feedlots. Please let us give them a Professor Bogoro is a student's delight. He loves the teaching profession as much as he loves his students, who he treats as friends rather than subordinates, contributing financially to their research works. He has taught, supervised, and mentored several postgraduate students at MSc and PhD levels, with up to 14 of them that are now full professors. He has also supervised and technically guided undergraduate and postgraduate students in disciplines like engineering, natural sciences, environmental sciences, catering and nutrition in both universities and polytechnics. He has delivered numerous high-profile public lectures, keynote addresses, over 80 of them, invited papers in very diverse areas of development, challenge, and policy. Of note are 2 Nigerian Society for Animal Production Animal Conference, keynote addresses at the Ahmad Bello University Zaria 2015, and Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB, Abeokuta 2016, a rare occurrence. In September 2020, he also delivered the keynote address at the Joint Annual Conference of Animal Science Association of Nigeria, ASAN, Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, NIAS, held in Abuja. At the last count, he has delivered 9 convocation lectures dwelling on compelling topics on mainly research thrust and funding of Nigerian public and private universities. He is and has been journal reviewer to many journals, a professorial external assessor to several universities. He has been external examiner to many universities and polytechnics in Nigeria, such as Department of Animal Science, University of Maiduguri, University of Ibadan, University of Benin, Abubakar, Tatari, Ali Polytechnic, ATAP, Bauchi. Professor Bogoro has been a collaborating scientist to the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, RMRDC, Abuja, and is currently a member of the Postgraduate College of Animal Science of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, NIAS. It is worthy of note that Professor Bogoro was instrumental and actively involved in the establishment of a modern dairy research and development research center at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, with the mandate of conducting research and extension in all facets of dairy science, nutrition, breeding, health, products, and processing. Professor Bogoro has demonstrated exemplary public and community service through FacePalm, Forward in Action for Education, Poverty and Malnutrition, a Bauchi-based NGO he leads as chairman, BOT in addition to about 10 other NGOs as BOT chairman or director, including NAPEN, National Association for Peaceful Elections in Nigeria, and SPSP, Society for Peace Studies and Practice, that are involved in peace building, peace education, and conflict management. In addition to other multi-sectoral interventions in education, health, human rights, poverty reduction, CBO and CSO mentoring, capacity building, training, etc., with most of the activities in the Northeast Zone, national levels, dating back to 1998. He is a former national president of Gindiri Old Students Association, OSA, his alma mater, and has been rated as one of the most outstanding former presidents in its history. Generally, he is said to settle for nothing less than outstanding performer in any office he holds, public or private. He is versatile and has been consultant, team leader, and project manager in international, national, and regional projects with the World Bank, UNDP, USAID, DFID, IPCR, OSI, WA, NDIA, FHI, NACA, IFDS, etc. Additionally, Professor Bogoro has been the official orator of his university and has been a member of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Feeds Formation 1989 and member Presidential Committee on Food Security and Food Policy 2000 to 2001. He was foundation member of the Committee for the Establishment of the Bauchi State University and, until recently, was an external member of the university. He has also been a member of the Governing Council of Bells University, Water, and the University of Ibadan Research Foundation think tank. These experiences have helped in broadening his perspective beyond the classroom and laboratory. Sorry. On January 21, 2019, the federal government reinstated Professor Bogoro as the Executive Secretary of Tech Fund to complete his first term of 5 years, being an unprecedented decision by the federal government in recent history, and did this to continue the good work he started before he was disengaged in air. Professor Bogoro was awarded the Doctor of Science honoris causa by the Taraba State University as her maiden convocation held on 24 March 2018 in recognition of his sound policies and leadership in infrastructure development of public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. He is a member of several professional bodies and societies besides NSPP, and is also an honorary fellow, Solar Energy Society of Nigeria, FSESN, Fellow Nigerian Academy of Science FAS 2018, Honorary Fellow Association of Educational Management 2020. Its other recognitions include Nigerian Society for Animal Production Captain of Industry Award 2015, overall Best Chief Executive Officer, the Nigerian Public Sector 2015. This award was given by the Newswatch magazine March 2016. And then it has Agricultural Development and Practice Award, Landmark University, Honor Aram 2017, African Achievers Award of Excellence 2016, inaugural awardee of the Animal Science Hall of Fame 2001. You need to hear this. Professor Bogoro derives pleasure in community service. He has 3 children, Barrister Dan, Dee, Deborah, and Esther. It is my pleasure to welcome the chairman of the prize giving ceremony as I present to you this wonderful man we are honoring today, Professor Elias Bogoro.
The chairman of the prize presentation ceremony, Professor Cherry. Happening now is the presentation and investiture of the NPL Prize winner 2021, Professor Suleiman E. Bogoro. Now decorated. Decoration ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the NPL Prize winner 2021, Professor Suleiman Bogoro. Declaration of excellence, the declaration of brilliance, the declaration of leadership. Vision, creativity and innovation. Character, competence, sacrifice, impact on society, governance, role modeling, mentorship, diversity, and inclusion.
Can we have the other members of the government?
We now invite other members of the government.
In the celebrant speech, he appreciated NPL for conferring him with this award and also appreciated all those who came to celebrate with him on this great achievement award.
The chairman, Board of Trustees of the prestigious Nigerian Prize for Leadership, the one and only Professor Anya Oko Anya, an exceptionally distinguished scientist, the Vice Chairman
of this board. You know them, Professor Iruku and the unmistakable Professor Jerry Ghana. Other members of the board, and definitely we could not miss him because he presided over the selection process that produced me as winner. He is somebody that you will not notice him because he does not make noise. But if you check his profile, he is one of the tallest out there in every respect, one of the very best. Engineer Mansour Ahmed, former lecturer, former chairman, Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, former executive director, NNPC. It's a long list. If I had attempted that with Professor Jerry Ghana, I think I know I would falter. The executive secretary of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, Dr. Ike Neliaku, thank you for everything. Let me appreciate the management of NPL. I tell you, if I want to attempt recognizing persons that have so exceptionally honored me here, I will make mistakes. But you will agree with me that, for instance, I don't know if he stepped out, the chairman, House of Reps Committee on Tertiary Education, the Right Honorable Aminu Suleiman. He came, he walked over, he was there. I don't know, I know some of them had to go out for prayers. I don't know if he did. I know he was here. It's for the purpose of appreciating where I have operated for a while. Yeah, no mistake about that. But let me say this, that the list of dignitaries here is definitely intimidating. I came because my wife had to travel out to London for a week-long program 2 days ago. Well, we missed her. And in her place, I have had my son, our first child, Barrister Darden with his wife that seated next to me. He stood in for me when the investigation should have taken place 1 year ago. And because I was not available physically, they rescheduled it. That has been explained. No mistake about it, in this gathering, we are privileged that a former head of state, and a man we simply call a father, General Yakubu Gowon, sent his first child, his son, Ibrahim Gowon, to represent him. Ibrahim, I know we had acknowledged you earlier. Thank you for representing Daddy and Mommy. I really appreciate this. We also have in our gathering here a number of vice chancellors, including my own vice chancellor, ATBU Bauchi. Professor Abdulaziz would return. He will soon return. He just went out for prayers. And the vice chancellor, he was recognized of Abuja University, my friend, Professor Naala. No mistake about that. He was recognized earlier. We have a former chief of staff to the president of Nigeria, General Jones Arogbafa. Sir, we can't make the mistake. I know you walked across to show respect for me. Yes, thank you very much. And I have a retinue of persons from Bauchi State, from the academia to traditional rulers, religious leaders, leadership of my community from Bogoro, Tafawa Balewa, Axis, etc., etc. Of course, my constituency, some of them have been unraveled, including the Boys Secondary School Gindri, the Gindri All Students Association. And among them is a top-class traditional ruler, the Sumpiam of Gindri, Charles Matodaka, yes, etc., etc. And like I said, my community is here, different levels of leadership. ZAR Development Association, Zayoda, like I said, religious leaders cutting across the two major religions, etc., etc. I just felt it's only appropriate. You see, I was talking about my state, and my former governor, His Excellency, Governor Issa Yuguda, has just entered this hall. I couldn't be better. Yes. Thank you. That's right. What an honor. Your Excellency, thank you so much. We're honored. Earlier, the former chairman of TED Fund Board of Trustees, Dr. Musa Babayo Talban Katagum, was introduced. I believe he went out most likely for prayer and he will return. I said it's a galaxy of personalities and I will make mistakes if I were to proceed along that line. I have officially been given 10 to 15 minutes. Mr. Chairman, sir, I will do my best. I don't know how scientifically perfect I will be to keep within the minutes. But you will agree with me, my being invited. Oh, by the way, I've seen a number of persons from the diplomatic community. I know I cannot miss out the United States Embassy. You know you are here, and I know you were here the last time. God bless you. God bless you. Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. Now, like I said, I've been asked to give an acceptance address. What I did, I could not write one until this morning. I scribbled something going about 4.5 pages. Well, I will do my best. I told you. I will do my best. Yeah, I will do my best. Now, talking of protocol, acknowledgement of guests and audience, I will say I have virtually covered that. So I can proceed to the next one. That was number one. That is protocol and guests, audience acknowledgement. I did mention, I know I will definitely not be perfect, but let me single out a team. Our in-laws, as we simply call them, Dr. and Dr. David Malgui, the parents of the wife to my son. They are seated here with Babayaya. I know you people are somewhere there. Dr. David Malgui. Oh, look at him. He's right here. He joined my people there. Okay, right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you people. The point is that I said I can't thank you enough for, at very short notice, you decided to join everybody here to celebrate me on my investiture as the inaugural winner of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership. I have so much appreciation that I emerged as the inaugural winner. I just don't have the right words to use to appreciate the Nigerian Prize for Leadership. I tell you something. The number 2 item that I am to talk about has to do with the challenge of being inaugural winner of the NPL and the screening and prestige questions. That is the way I put it. But I'll tell you something, that it has to do with the fact that there will be perceptions for any merit awarding platform. I stand here before all of you to say that granted the unfortunate experiences of many of us who have in the past been lobbied and sometimes even blackmailed or induced to take some questionable awards and titles. In the course of our lives in this country, I can stake my personal integrity to say the NPL is one of the most pristine and transparently driven awards that I know in this country. The thoroughly scrutinous, strictly confidential, and firmly merit-based process of my emergence will be a reference for other merit award processes in Nigeria. For instance, I can confirm here that the person who invariably recommended me and the caliber and integrity status of the chairman and members of the selection committee is unquestionable. Don't forget, we said, let me mention it here, that Engineer Mansour Ahmed, who chaired the selection committee, although we've had the privilege of some relationship in recent years when we spoke about the partnership between the academia and industry through research, I never knew, and I can confirm to you here, he made sure that I never knew that I was one of those being evaluated, being assessed, evaluated, and screened for this award. Nobody from the committee hinted me. Believe me, it was after I had emerged that somebody attempted to whisper, but he said, I will not tell you all, sir, until you hear it from NPL. I will not mention him, but I say one thing. Dr. Jacob Alada, God bless you for your role in my emergence. Dr. Alada was a director in TETFON. He retired, and I am told he consulted with the committee, selection committee, and he provided them nearly 100 video clips of my activities in TETFON and other places. Unbelievable. Those were some of the information base they collated that led to my selection. None of them have in the past or recently been associated with wrongdoing. I am talking about the Board of Trustees and the Selection Committee. In my judgment, this inaugural awards transparent process has established a very high standard worthy of being copied by other merit award platforms beyond Nigeria and Africa. Evidently, its prestige and rating are of the highest standards, and we know. It reminds me of the TETFON National Research Fund, NRF, the professors and the vice chancellors know this, which under my leadership as executive secretary was last year evaluated along with other research grant platforms in Nigeria by the International Science Granting Council based on the transparency, grant selection, merit-based screening process, and non-interference from my office. TETFON was selected as the institution in Nigeria that will hold and manage its research grants henceforth, making Nigeria the 6th country in Africa to earn such a status. It was all about transparency, merit, and integrity of the process of grant management in TETFON. Today I can tell you something, and it's important, by way of expressing an opinion about my character in respect of integrity. I once told somebody that I can bet and I can swear to any holy book that in my academic career, I never compromised my standard for anybody. I imported the same standards in TETFON. Everybody that knows the NRF, today the NRF of TETFON is holding the largest research grant in Nigeria. In the year 2019, up to that time, before I was reinstated by Mr. President upon recommendation of the Honorable Minister of Education, Mala Adamu, TETFON had 4 billion naira spread over 8 years for the NRF. That comes to arithmetically 500 million per annum. And when I returned, I made a case to the Board of Trustees, and they approved that we upscale it. And I said, instead of seed money, let it be annual. And so I recommended to the Board of Trustees, they approved, and the Honorable Minister equally endorsed it, and Mr. President finally approved it. That in the year 2019, NRF grant will be 5 billion instead of 500 million. 10 times the figure. The following year, I raised the figure and the board approved, Mr. President and the minister also approved. it went to 7.5 billion. The following year, it went to 8 billion. It's been scaled up. And like I said at the NUC a few days ago, I don't see why it will not move to 15 or 20 billion naira annually. This is one of the things that can assist the lecturers in diverting attention from non-essential things. If the professors that are principal investigators in research are occupied enough, they will have their mentors who are younger lecturers working with them in partnership, or they bring on board masters and PhD candidates. And through that, from the research grant, normally there is a certain percentage, between 10 to 15% for administration. Believe me, something will come out of it. And if you are winning research grants regularly, you will not be poor. Appreciating the integrity pedestal of NPL, BOT, and management as a benchmark and model in Africa. A look at the profile of the chairman and board of trustees and members, as well as of the management of the Nigeria Prize for Leadership, speaks to the exceptional prestige, status, and high rating of the group. If you are looking for some of the longest-serving technocrats, professionals, jurists, some of them retired Supreme Court justices, academics, banking, and business tycoons, and some of the most respected politicians, they are there. I took time to scan these top-level operators spanning over decades of meritorious and unblemished service to our country. And it is obvious that strict criteria were used in the assemblage of these great Nigerians, constituting the Board of Trustees of NPL. I think they deserve a round of applause. Believe me, the Dere Awoshikas are members of the board. Am I right, sir? Dere Awoshika is the current chairman of Access Bank. And you know, Access Bank is in the top level there. Just as an example, I mentioned some of them. It's a long list. Among the former, Christopher Kolade is a trustee member. And I think I mentioned former Supreme Court Judge, Justice Ogebe. That's right. And so on and so forth. So you will appreciate that we are talking about some of the very best. I see the Nigeria Prize for Leadership becoming a lead reference in the identification and rating of merit award platforms in Nigeria and beyond. As role models, they have all it takes for them to mentor the newly inaugurated fellows as leadership mentees. Let me congratulate them, by the way. We are proud of all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Join me in appreciating them for carefully putting together this platform that reminds us that all is not lost in our country, and that if we leaders sacrifice and show example, God will be kind with us, even in our graves. Because we have contributed to producing leaders and saving vulnerable individuals and our nation that we proudly belong. Next, what are the indices and characteristics of bad governance versus citizens' demands and responsible stewardship from our leaders and representatives? I just spoke to two areas. Bad governance first, and then secondly, citizens and responsible stewardship. Now, in bad governance, I said simply characterize bad governance is when persons in privileged position of leadership, be it family, community, public service, private sector, political, or non-state operations and institutions, decide to be tyrannical, oppressive, self-serving, arrogant, dictatorial, or corrupt. You will be an agent of bad governance. Specifically, they are more likely to be insensitive to advice and disrespect of others. And so, they end up not meeting the expectations of the people they serve or may have been elected to serve. Now, the second category has to do with the citizens and what are the expectations of the citizens from the leadership. Citizens' demands and responsible stewardship. When leaders listen to citizens, I just decided to make only single sentence here. When leaders listen to citizens, they are more likely not to derail, and so are also more likely to meet the expectations of the people. Am I communicating? Thank you very much. Now, let me share my story, and I just simply put it this way. I say, so what is my own story? My story has been that of taking lessons from the failure of recent and past leaders, especially over time in history. Now, there are 4 aspects that I'm sharing with you from a personal perspective. As chairman of the Governing Council of Federal Polytechnic Nekede Owerri, I promised to transform the Polytechnic during my inaugural address. With the help of a focused rector, Engineer Wanko, after 12 months, I was given the title of Ekweme of Abombise. In other words, a man of his words. In doing so, I vowed that since that was my first public appointment at federal level, I will not disappoint. I was told no chairman of council had ever physically transformed the Polytechnic within such a short period as I did. Number 2, as National President of Guinea All Students Association, GOSA, I served for about 5 years and has always been rated as one of the best presidents of GOSA, to the glory of God. Number 3, what I did in TETFund as Executive Secretary does not need advertisement, in my honest opinion. Most of Nigeria's public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education are jokingly said they could as well be renamed with TETFund as the prefix of those institutions. Finally, number 4, in my community, I am said to deny myself many privileges and instead, I commit personal resources to help the weak in the community beyond call to duty. That is my picture. Number 6, what are the impediments to responsible and incorruptible leadership in Nigeria and Africa? Most leaders who fail the country, their states, local government, communities, and humanity are those who preoccupy themselves with personal interests, and in the process, they are not bothered about the moral obligations of rendering service and not emphasizing personal privileges at the expense of the people you are called to lead or indeed serve. This is because many of us don't bother to know that the best stewardship is servant leadership. In such a manner that you bend backwards over to meet the people's expectations. I have been disengaged in the past, and mercifully, I have survived scrutiny, perhaps because I emphasize meeting the expectations of the people rather than thinking of self, even when doing so could deprive others, and in extreme cases, have led to frustrations and suicide in some unfortunate instances. Number 7, the world cannot, this is the title of this area, after that then the very last one. The world cannot wait for us to settle our self-inflicted prejudices and idiosyncrasies, of course, and biases among ourselves as Nigerians before we take the next step towards sustainable development. And I have the following to say in that context. May I use this opportunity of my acceptance speech today to call on fellow citizens that if we think we are diverse, there are many other heterogeneous nations than ours. The excuse of ethnic, religious, or regional differences are untenable because although each ethnic group may have its negative references, each of these groups have equally laudable characteristics, laudable and of course commendable. I'm being very honest in my opinion on this. Yes, which put together, as we see when Nigerian national football team is playing, they gel into goals. As we remember our most memorable 1994 national team at the Africa Cup of Nations, and of course the Atlanta 1996 team, Olympic teams that did us proud. We can overcome our minor differences if we leaders treat each other with respect and a sense of fairness in our day-to-day lives in both public and private spaces. I will tell you one thing. Believe me, in private chat, well, we have the 3 largest ethnic groups in Nigeria, the Wazobia, isn't it? Of course, in the north, Hausa, southwest, Yoruba, southeast, Igbo. And each time we are discussing, one moment, if it is a collection from one of the groups, they may be talking negatively about the other 2. And you go to the other one, it may be the other way around. But I tell you something, in between, there are moments, and you have to be very honest, you will find that God has endowed each of these 3 ethnic groups with commendable characters that the other 2 lack. And if they were to be added to them, put together, Nigeria will be the best nation in Africa. Finally, with patriotic statesmen and women, youth as well as political, professional, community and religious leaders, we can collectively change the narrative and redirect our country, Nigeria and Africa. Now, what do I have to say here? Let me read what I wrote, and that's the last paragraph, and I will exit. As we prepare for the 2020 elections, let us pray that God gives us the right leaders at all levels who will be patriotic enough to think of humanity and the common good, which demands that leaders are respected, applauded, and prayed for because they have placed the people first. Let us all pray also that the citizens play their complementary roles to particularly offer advice and pray for our leaders. If this happens, many more people will be willing to offer themselves to provide exemplary leadership. If this happens in Nigeria, and because of our numerical and economic advantages, that's Nigeria against the rest of Africa, it will have a ripple effect in other countries in Africa. We do not have to plunge ourselves into the unfortunate situation of other countries in Africa today before we return to provide the deserved leadership required of Nigeria in Africa and from the rest of the world. Thank you for your patience.
Bogoro took out time to appreciate the chairman of AD4 TV Radio, Dr. Jacob Alada, for nominating him and ensuring that he was chosen for the award. He enjoined youth in the country to emulate the good works by dedicating themselves to excellence and strive to contribute their measures to the formidable task of getting Nigeria on the top bracket of distinguished nations. The award prize of 25 million naira given to Professor Bogoro by NPL was dedicated to Baba Gwentu Foundation by the recipient. He applauded the effort of the foundation for giving hope and succor for people to live a happy and healthy life.
I just want to first and foremost, appreciate the leadership of NPL for putting action to words. And you are all witnesses. 25 million naira in respect of this prize. What a great example they have set. And for me, I'm trying to emulate them. Because I was communicated officially last year, 1 year ago, about this prize. I made a commitment, and this is the right platform I should formally announce, that I am committing this money to the Baba Gonto Foundation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
It was a night filled with merriment, joy and celebration, as there were lots to eat and drink.